Hey, welcome to Tea Time with the Judges.
What's up?
This is Dr. James Judge.
And Dr. Kalie Judge.
And we're bringing you another episode of Tea Time with the Judges. Today we're going to talk about why people are sick here in America. Go through some statistics that you know off your head about sickness.
You know, a couple of the big ones that we anchor into is that 5 out of 6 people are dying of either heart disease or cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that's about 84% of people that are dying of what's known as lifestyle diseases. And they're also nicknamed as the silent killers. So we want to just really kind of uncover the truths of why people are naming those things the silent killers, why they're considered lifestyle diseases, and what it takes to go through that. And then you know, diabetes is skyrocketing, obesity is skyrocketing, and then you look at the debt in that, and it's totally in charge with each other.
I always say that Einstein said it best. If we keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and expect different results, we're all insane. You know, my uncle started this chiropractic thing back in 1923. That's when he first started chiropractic college. He graduated in 1925. Heart disease was one of the #1 killers still back then. And actually it's raised every single year since then. And my point is, and I always teach this, is that we have better medicine than ever before, right? You know, we have better hospitals, we have better doctors, we spend more money on heart disease, yet it's still going up and up and up and up. Why? You know, why is it that we still have the #1 leading death here in America is cancer as well? You know, compared to the rest of the world, we lead the world, that's what I'm trying to say, in cancer. So why?
You know, what we're teaching and what we teach in our office is completely opposite of what the rest of society lives by, what they go by. And you know, oftentimes I see that when people hear what we're teaching and the truths and the principles that we lay down in front of them, you can almost see that light bulb turn on. Mm-hmm. When someone hears something totally different, and it takes sometimes. You know, there's people who like jump right in and they're like super excited to do like a complete 180 change. But then there's some people that are like walking on eggshells and are scared. And, you know, we like to honor both of those people because we know that life it's hard. Health is hard, but it doesn't have to be hard. You know, when we're talking about heart disease and cancer being still the top 2, because I think they're treating it wrong. Yeah. The people are waiting until you're sick to even do anything about it. Mm-hmm. You're not taking control of your health because they're putting control in other people's hands. Well, I can just do whatever I want to do, and then you know there's going to be this magic pill that I can just take, and everything's going to get wiped away, and I'm going to be totally fine when I wake up in the morning. I think that's the wrong principle to be living by.
Yeah, and if you're not in control, who is?
Somebody else.
And it's usually the medical system because, right, we don't think we're taught through years of lies that we're weak. And I opened my dinner up with this last night. We're weak. We're taught that we need drugs to heal when we're sick. We need doctors to tell those drugs, you know, what to do basically, when to take them. And I want to empower you guys today and understand, I want you to understand, everyone out there listening to this, that you're strong. You're equipped and you're loved. And your body has everything that it needs to heal. And we just need to make sure we're doing the right things to our bodies and for our bodies to make sure that those chemicals inside of us, right, not the man-made stuff that we have been taking for years and it's still causing more disease, but the chemicals that are inside each and every single one of us are produced correctly. And really that's the only difference between someone that's quote-unquote healthy and someone that's quote-unquote sick is the production of those chemicals. And we'll go through that in detail, but how do we produce better chemicals in our body? How do we create a better homeostasis or better equal environment in our body? How does that work?
You know, we teach the 5 essentials here in our office, and it's mindset, it's nerve supply, maximize nerve supply, quality nutrients, so putting the right food in there, because when you put a toxic substance into your body goes into toxic shock, and so it has to work overtime. So the right foods, not just health foods, because when you look at health foods in the market, that's even skewed a whole lot too. So that's what we're doing all this for. good exercise, quality exercise, to make sure that you're getting the right amount of oxygen in there, to make sure you're building lean muscle, especially like the bodybuilders out there, they want to get these big muscles. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're healthy. You can be the skinny fat,
Yep.
right? And then minimizing toxins. So those really are the 5 things that we, you said something just about a second ago, is about you're equipped. And those are the 5 essentials that we want to equip you guys with, to make sure that you're living your life at God's best for you.
It's like you've got the tools, right? Like if you're a football player, you have the pads, you have the helmet, you have the ball, but some people aren't putting that stuff on. And they're going out in the world unequipped, but the tools are there, right? And they're right in front of us, but we're going to go through 3 reasons most people are sick here in America. Most people say, well, it's lack of exercise. Well, it's lack of the proper diet. Well, I have a bad mindset, or my spine is not in the proper position, or I'm full of toxins. Yes, that's all correct. But we have the information, right? You're equipped with the information. Get on Google right now and just Google how to be healthy, and you'll get a billion different things that will pop up. How many different books have been written? How many different diets that you'll get? How many different exercise programs? It's all there at your fingertips. The equipment is there. Why aren't we arming ourselves with that? Why aren't we applying that stuff to our lives, right? So again, if you like these videos, make sure that you go back and listen to the other ones. On iTunes, you can download it right to your pocket, your podcast app, and look up Tea Time with the Judges. You'll also get an extra 5 Essential Friday during the week to help equip you, continuing to equip you throughout your life. And really, podcasts are all I listen to, whether I'm at the gym, whether I'm driving in my car, right? I listen to music sometimes, but most of the time it's filling my brain with stuff that will help equip myself through life. And I think that's powerful beyond measure. So where was I going with that? The equipment that we have, what are the 3 reasons that most people get sick here in America? It's not lack of nutrition, right? It's not lack of exercise. It's not lack of knowledge. Well, yeah, sometimes it's lack of knowledge, but it's the right knowledge. So we've come up with 3 reasons in our practice that most people are sick. Okay, number 1 is
lack of commitment.
We lack commitment, right? And I asked a group of people last night at a dinner, what does commitment look like to you?
To me?
Yeah.
Can I tell you what I see with some people before we go
Yeah,
into what
go
it looks
ahead.
like? So, one of the biggest things that breaks my heart the most is that I see people get on board, even lose weight, even get off medications, and have a complete life transformation. And then the next thing I see is that they've quit doing everything that they do, and they go back to their old habits, and and then they come back, 6-7 years later, with the same problem that they had when they walked away from it. So commitment is making a decision and drawing a line in the sand, and this is never going to happen to me again. I'm committed to doing this for the rest of my life. So this is such a silly thing, but I think it's like a huge thing for most people. So in June, I committed to making my bed every single morning. And I know for most people it sounds like such a silly random thing, but for me it was something that I just never thought it was a big deal. I never thought it was important, and I just didn't do. Sporadically I would do it just because, or if people were coming over to my house. And so in June I made a decision that I'm never going to leave my house, and I'm never going to do anything until my bed is made. And it has been every day since that day. Even when I'm on vacation, my bed is being made. A commitment is there. I'm not turning back because of a decision that I made. So once you make that decision, it's like drawing that line in the sand, and you don't turn around from that.
Those things seem little, but what she's doing there every morning is she's building character. And character is those things that we do when no one else sees what we're doing, and you have to judge yourself by the quality of your character. Like, you shouldn't be looking at this website, or you shouldn't be hanging out with these people on the weekend, or you shouldn't be on Facebook for 3 hours a day. You maybe want to start reading some books and getting some information in there. So again, as soon as we deviate from those little things that she's chipping away at, whether it's making your bed, whether it's exercising daily, whether it's making sure that you're getting, like I said, a podcast in, those little things build character. And suddenly, and we use this all the time, constant and never-ending improvement. I stole it from Tony Robbins, Kanai. Right? We have to make sure that we're making constant and never-ending improvement to that character. And then eventually you wake up 2, 3, 4 years later, a completely different person. And how amazing is that, right? So for me, I want to increase my character. 1% every single day. And in 365 days a year from today, I'm going to be 365% better. And again, we've talked about this before on the podcast. I think that's amazing because, again, the quality of your character determines the quality of your life. And that happens through everything. We talk about karma, talk about everything, the power of influence and the power of attraction. It all starts with character. And that's what we're talking about. And commitment, that word we started with, right? Most people are sick because they're not committed to their health, right? Health for me is the foundation of every single thing that happens in my life. And I want to make sure I'm committed to those things that create health, the 5 essentials that we talk about. And if we're not committed to it, right, if I cheat just a little bit without me being committed to that cheat day, and there's times for that as well, but if I have this little piece of cake over here, or this little thing over here, or I wake up at 6 o'clock instead of 5 o'clock today, then again, it chips away negatively at that character, and you become, just that spiral effect of downgrading yourself, I guess.
Yeah, so integrity is a huge word, and I think that integrity and commitment go hand in hand with each other. But then I think about commitment and just people's thought process towards that, and a commitment to your health, a commitment to your finances, a commitment to your relationship, whatever it is in your life. It can't just be a good idea. Mm-hmm. And I think there's too many good ideas out there, and it's not a commitment to it. Like, if it's a good idea, you're going to let things get in the way. You're going to let little cheats happen. You're going to let excuses run your life. And I think there's way too many excuses that we live by rather than living by commitments. If you live by just being committed to something and standing firm in that, then nothing gets in your way. There's no excuse in the world that can stop you from doing what you've already planned out to do. Again, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail.
Yeah, we teach people that there's a difference between interested and committed, right? Most people are interested in change. Most people want to have the 6-pack abs. Most people want to have the biceps. And most people want to run the half marathon. But they get 2 or 3 days into it, and they know that there's a lot of work that goes into it, right? We put a lot of work into our health. Why do we do that? Because, again, like we said, we know that the health is the foundation of our lives. And unless we have our health, we have nothing, right? So the man or woman that has their health has millions of wishes. Once you lose that health, now it suddenly becomes the number one thing in your life. And my mentor used to say that nothing tastes as good as being healthy feels. And more importantly, nothing feels as good as being with your family, being healthy is. Does that make sense to all of you out there? Right? So again, commitment isn't just a good idea. Commitment isn't just something that you're interested in. If health is truly the most important thing in your life, I don't want you losing 20 pounds to look good in a bathing suit. I want you losing 20 pounds because you've been committed to your health, because you want to increase your production and feel better, look better, produce better, have better relationships with your spouses, right? So, and I also use this example as well. Your spouse doesn't care if you were a good spouse yesterday, right? Creating a good relationships take commitment, right? Anything worthwhile in your life take commitment. So what are you committed to? What are most people committed to here?
Work.
In this community, in this culture, right? Well, the culture we've created in America, most people are committed to money, right? And things, and power, and vanity, and stuff that really, at the end of the day, doesn't make much sense. That stuff is great. I drive a great car. I have a great house. I have great stuff. But again, I'm focused not on that. I'm focused on my health, and all of the rest of that stuff encompasses it.
I'm just sitting over here thinking about what would happen if me and you stopped doing everything that we do every single day to maintain our health.
Could you imagine if I walked in the office with a milkshake and a Big
or a
Mac,
McDonald's,
right?
yeah.
Right? And just started eating in front of everybody? Like, that would just be so out of character. But, and there's people out there in chiropractic offices that do that stuff, and we're not taking away from that. But what is it that you want to create in your life? And you have the ability to change it by the way and what you're committed to. What do you know you're committed to? Look at your checkbook. Right? Now they say look at your credit card statement, and the stuff that you spend money on, that's really ultimately what you're committed to. So for us, it's whole foods, right? Healthy foods, not the store, but the whole foods that we're buying, making sure that we're investing into that. It's the gym membership. It's making sure that we're taking time off in a way. And you should see my Amazon bill. It's expensive, but it's because I'm buying a lot of books to feed myself with. So I want to make sure that I'm analyzing what I'm spending money on every month to make sure that it's in line with my, not my interests, but my commitments.
Now, so could somebody have a huge Amazon bill and a huge gym membership bill and still not be where they're supposed to be?
Oh yeah, I mean, so again.
So it's not about the bill and it's not about the money you spend on stuff.
Look,
but
there's libraries out there that, you know, in people's houses, none of the books have been read, and more importantly, none of the information in the books have been applied to their life. So it's not just about buying the books or the good food, right? Think about me buying the good, healthy, organic food, spending $500 a week on that stuff, and then going out and eating the Big Macs and all the other stuff that people eat, living off gummy worms on the weekends. It doesn't make any sense, you know. So again, committed, not just interested, not just thinking that we're doing the right things, but actually applying these things to your life.
So I think that was good.
Yeah, I do too.
What's the second reason?
Number 2 is we have the wrong information.
So you said something about not having knowledge, and I think that we have a lot of knowledge, but we have very little understanding.
Right.
So I think that is
Or
yeah, go ahead.
Or we have knowledge that's wrong. And the Nazi regime said it best themselves. You know, if you tell a lie long enough, strong enough to enough people, then it becomes suddenly a belief. But it's still not a truth, okay? So there's a difference between a truth and a belief system. Most people adopt a belief system from their parents, from the culture that we've created in this land called America, right? There's belief systems, but those don't equal truths. And that's what we're here to tell you, is that most people have been lied to when it comes to their health and how they should eat and how they should exercise and how they should, you know, get rid of toxins and what products they should buy. All this stuff that we really want to focus on teaching you all, that's all been passed down through culture, through generational lies that have been, like I said, passed down through mothers and fathers, and now it's just this huge moneymaker that's out there.
Yeah, you know, thinking about like when you got sick when you were young, first thing that your parents did was probably run to your medicine cabinet and give you some cough medicine, have you go to sleep, and then take you to the doctor in the morning, and all of, like this stuff, and or they give you the saltine crackers and the 7-Up and the sugary and carb loaded.
Like, who said 7-Up is good for somebody that has the flu? Like, it's full of sugar and carbonation, and it's just basically sugar water. It's definitely not helpful for the flu. It might make you feel better because you get all sugared up. But again, who told you that? Who told you it was okay for NyQuil to be taken to go to sleep at night because you can't sleep, right? Who told you that's okay to induce yourself with chemicals daily, right? Or if when you have a headache that you should be taking, who said that's okay? And again, it's we have the wrong information on what health is. What do most people think health is?
How good do I look?
Right.
And how good do I feel?
And if you think about this, if you woke up today and you felt good and you look good, you probably think you're healthy. But how do you really truly ultimately know that? And most, like Dr. Kalie just said, they think it's how we look and how we feel, but it's not that at all, because I've known people that I'm very close to that looked great and felt great one day and were diagnosed with cancer the next day. Or, you know, I went through this at Northern Illinois University. One of my friends there, her mom was in the bathroom, fine 1 second, and dropped dead of a heart attack the next second at, I think, 39 or 40 years old. So we have to understand that health is more than how you look and feel, okay? And we can't judge a book by our covers. Like, how do you know right now that I'm not building disease? We really don't, you know, but we have to understand that health isn't how you look and feel. Health is how you
function
and
heal.
And we tell people that all the time. You know, and we can go through this in detail, but health is not how you look and feel. Health is how you heal. Right? So if your body is healing and functioning at its ultimate level, then you wouldn't be sick. You wouldn't have disease, right? So think about function. What creates all function in your body?
We know that function comes from our brain. It's
comes
there
from the brain.
Every single second of every single day. Its primary objective is to make sure that your body can run for 24 hours every single day.
Yep.
You know, some people, even just talking about feeling, there's only 10% of your nervous system that has feeling in it. The other 90% is to make your organs, your cells, and your tissues work. Could you imagine if you could feel your heart pumping and
Right.
moving every single thing, or your pancreas doing what it needs to do, or your stomach digesting the food? If you
Right.
could feel that, it'd be awful.
Right.
So your body is designed, like you are designed to heal. Simply stated, you are designed to heal. It's a matter of how well is that function getting from your brain, which is right here, down that spinal cord and out those nerves. And that's where the interference comes from, and that's where the lack of healing happens.
And even if you have symptoms, remember that those are a good thing. I tell my patients all the time that your symptoms are telling you stories. But most people are taught to suppress their symptoms with drugs or cut things out because they've rotted, right? So their pancreas are adenoids and all this other stuff. And God didn't create junk. He didn't make any mistakes. You need all of this to work and function for your entire life, right? For me, it's not just about making it till 70 years old and then retiring, or 65 and retiring and just living my life out. I want to be functioning and healing at my ultimate level until I'm 80, 90, 100, 110 years old, running down the beach with my great-grandchildren. And we can't do that relying on the current system and current thinking, most importantly, that people have here in America. We have to start thinking differently, right? Thinking different thoughts. Thinking healthy thoughts create healthy habits. Healthy habits create healthy people, healthy actions and healthy people.
So you've got to have a shift in perspective. And I think people have the wrong perspective on what health is. Again, it's limited thinking. And one of our mentors did a talk about if you were to get a food processor and you only used it for mixing and you never opened up the owner's manual to see the 150 other things that it can do for you, you're missing out and you're only using about 2% of what it's designed for.
Let's bring it to today's world. Like, I just bought a MacBook Pro, and if I just used it for Facebook, there's so much more in this thing that whatever, it's the touch bar, it's all this other stuff. I still don't have any clue. I'm probably using 2% of it. But again, when we look at our bodies, there's so much more than just how we look and feel, what's going on the inside. And when we look at the word health, health equals function, right? Your health is directly equal to how well the cells and tissues and organs of your body are functioning, right? So health equals function, and function equals health. And how do we know that we're functioning and healing at the ultimate level? Think about all of the cells and all of the tissues and all the organs that we're compiled of. It's 35 trillion cells. And those all have to work in unison, right? So if we're exposed to a virus, there's cells have to work in unison to get that virus out, right? If we're injured, there's multiple things that have to happen for that injury to go away. Like if I cut my arm with a sheet of paper, it heals, right? I don't need a doctor to tell me to heal it. I don't need Neosporin to be put on it to tell it to heal, right? I burnt my arm, and there's a scar here, and it blistered, and that might hurt for a while, but those blisters are a good thing. Headaches are telling you something is wrong. If you've got back pain, there's an injury there, right? Stop suppressing it with drugs. You're not really getting to the cause. And when we go back to your biology class, you know that function started when two cells come together, a sperm and an egg, right? Those formed one cell, and that's where you began. That one cell, that one cell turned into 2, and then 4, and then 8, and then 16, and then 9 months later, this beautiful thing called you emerged, basically. And again, that perfection has not left you. That innate intelligence that's inside of you has never left you. So again, it's not how we look and feel. It's not these lies that we've been told our entire life. It's how you heal, and that healing power is within all of us, and it's never left us.
Just getting back to the simplicity of we try to fluff too many things up, and we've got to get back to the simple things. And talking about medications, and if you have a back pain and you take painkillers for it, you're just masking that symptom. Okay, so the symptom's gone away, the pain's gone away, but the damage is still there, and it's it is getting worse as you go back to do your jobs and go back to do your repetitive motions. Or let's say you're a marathon runner and you have a spine that's crooked, and you think that's going to get better after 26 miles, or you think it's going to get worse. It gets worse every single time, which is why there's a maintenance factor in that, which is why you have to make sure that you're maintaining the integrity of your nervous system, because your nervous system, again, is what runs and controls everything. And if you let that go, you cannot replace it. You know, people talk about the health of their teeth. Well, those can be replaced. I've got a patient who's getting everything taken out and putting everything back in, right? You can't go in there and replace your nervous system. It's just not possible. So you have to take care of that, whether it's you or whether it's your kids or whether it's your grandkids or whatever it is. And you've got to tell the world. As soon as you find out about this stuff, there's a responsibility and almost a burden to tell people, and that's why we do these dinners. That's why we do home talks. We go to our patients' houses and do dinner and do talks. That's why we go to local businesses and do talks. That's why we were out screening on Sunday to tell people that there's a power inside of you that heals and surrounds and protects you to make sure that you're functioning at 100%. But it can't function at 100% if there's interference. Just like if you were trying to water your garden, if someone came behind you and kinked the hose, the garden cannot be watered at 100% because the water's not flowing out of there at 100%. Someone's got to get the kink out and let the water go through it.
So how have we come to this point with the wrong information? You know, she was just talking there. I think as we learn more about how the body functions and we discover more about the body, we make things way too complex. And I'm going to use an analogy here with athletes. You know, the best athletes in the world don't force it. You know, I was just listening to Maria Sharapova, I think that's how you say her name. And she was on a podcast, Tim Ferriss's podcast, and she said, you know, when I try to grunt it and when I try to force it, that's when I fail. But when I just let my innate, basically that's what she was saying, my innate flow and just me go with the punches and let it happen without trying to control. And I think that's really what the problem here is in America. We're trying to control what's already in control. I just came up with that, but yeah, it is a writer downer. we are trying to control what God already has in control, right? We're trying to suppress symptoms that are good for us. We're trying to cover this up or take this ointment or take this new essential oil or do this and get this new product because it's going to create more health and more healing. And it's all been there, right? And when we get back to function, your body, your cells, and your tissues, they're functioning from the nervous system, right? That innate intelligence that's inside of every one of us, that's what's controlling everything. We're not in control of that, right? You can't control your heart right now. You can maybe make it go faster or slower by the way you're exercising, but you can't really control how fast or slow it's going to go, right? You can't control the way you're digesting your food right now, what's happening to all of those things. You can't control the chemicals that are making that happen. No doctor in the world can do that, right? Because the best doctor doesn't live in a hospital or it doesn't wear a white coat. It's inside of us. And once we understand that doctor's in control of how we function and how we heal every day of our life, that's when the game starts to change. Because I'm not in control. Dr. Kalie's not in control. Our bodies are in control. And what's controlling it? Well, it's what's created us. Whatever you want to call that, that's what's controlling us. That turned 2 cells into 1 to 35 trillion cells, right? Those cells are continuing to mold themselves into who you are every day of your life, right? 3 years from today, you're going to have a completely different body makeup, meaning that every cell, tissue, and organ will have died and been reborn. And that's called regeneration. And if you're not regenerating, you're degenerating, and that's the precursor to disease in your body. And how does your body tell you that? Well, it says send signals, symptoms. And I use this all the time. If I drove here in my car today and my oil light starts flashing at me, is that good or bad?
It's good.
It's good. Why? Well, because it's telling me I have bad oil. If I didn't have that signal, then my car would fall on the road one of these days, right? So what most people do with their signals, their symptoms that they have, is take the black piece of tape and put it over the oil light and continue to drive their car, you know, and they ignore the signals of life. They ignore the signals of telling you, hey, something is wrong, man, fix it. And that's where we get into trouble.
Yeah, man, I had a good thought and sent me down that was good. I was like enamored with what you were saying there. So just thinking about not having the right information, and here's a scenario for you guys. Either there's 2 things that just happened. Either everything that we just said is completely 100% truth, or everything that we said is completely 100% false. There's no just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. You know, I have someone that I've been talking to about their health and working through some stuff with them, and you know, there's either a stance that you have that you believe that your body can heal, or you believe that there's something missing and you've got to add medications and you've got to add this and you've got to add that. And I think that they're just one of those, either way, I hope the best, but one of those has to be squashed, because this one over here is 100% truth. We know that you are a self-healing, self-regulating, self-maintaining organism, that God gave you an amazing healing power in your brain. It's there all of the time. That cannot be altered, right? You weren't born with a lack of Prozac. You weren't born with a lack of Lipitor. You weren't born with a lack of Ritalin. You weren't born with a lack of Advil or Tylenol or anything like that. You were born with everything that you need to heal, function, and maintain your health over your lifetime. Now, it's just a matter of what do you believe in.
Yeah.
And I think you got to get around enough people that are telling you truth and believing in that. And again, this might be hurting somebody right now, these words, because you've been lied to. I'm going to tell you that again. You have been lied to your entire life. You've been told that you are not worthy. You're not capable. You're a victim, and you can't overcome stuff. You're not victorious. And it's just I'm sorry, it's a lie.
And this is why I'm wearing the shirt today. Been set free. You know, what are you?
What are you addicted to? And what in your life do you know that you need to change? You know, that's a question that only you can answer, but you've got the answers. You know, that's what we're trying to give to you every week here, twice a week. It's already been a half hour, so we're going to go through number 3 already here, and it's the lack of action, and it's due to the law of diminishing intent. We call it the Lodi monster, right? So we talked about books in libraries, and there's millions of books out there, and if people read them and take that amazing information, like I talk about the Motivation Manifesto, I read twice a year because I continually want to apply that information to my life and tweak it and refine it and make it just perfect. But I have to continue to go back to it because there's so much in there I can't possibly apply to my life that second that I read it, right? So over the years, I'm going to apply this and refine it, like I said, tweak it and make it perfect. But if I took that the first week that I read it, because it took me a week because I just loved it so much, and put it on the shelf and walked away from it without taking action, what happens?
Nothing.
It was a week of wasted time reading the book. And you get so excited sometimes and so interested and influenced by whether it's an amazing speaker at a seminar or an amazing book, and you get all these feels, right? You feel all the feels, and 2 days later those feels are gone because you haven't consistently taken action. And that's why most people are sick, right? So it's going to be coming up now, and I don't want to say it, but September, October, November, and then it's December, and then January. So January 1st, what comes out all the time?
I don't know. Where are you going?
Yeah, you do.
The flu
New
shot?
Year's resolution.
I was like, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know where he's going with that.
She thinks I'm tricking her with questions all the time.
I always think he has a trick question in
no,
there.
there's no trick questions. But it's the New Year's resolutions. And most people, by day 5, they've done research that 90% of them go to the wayside. Why is that?
Law of diminishing intent.
Yeah.
Lack of, and then we can go back to number 1. Lack of commitment
Lack
and
of
wrong
commitment,
information.
wrong information, and lack of
You know,
action.
so I have a basement full of gym equipment, and it's right there. So I literally have 0 excuses. And I could sometimes I don't go down there, and sometimes I don't work out. And the thing is that you have to take action and actually go and do it, because otherwise it's just going to be awesome equipment that is collecting dust, and it's not going to do anything for my health. And so it's taking action to walk down the stairs, put on my shoes every single day, doing what I'm committed to do, coming in here, making sure that we're on point, doing that. But you have to do it. Dr. James can't work out for you. I can't work out for you. I can't eat the right stuff for you. I can't even get your adjustment. Like, I can't get an adjustment for him and make him be better, right? He's got to take the action to do that and be committed to all of that.
Yeah, and why am I committed? Because I have a purpose here on this planet, and that's to serve this message to the world, to set people free from their bondage, I call it stinking thinking, right? Like we said at the beginning of this, you were born equipped, you were born loved, and you were born with everything that you need to be the person that you need to be. We just need to make sure that we open the book, read the information, and apply that information to your life. So thanks for all of the comments today, Dr. Emmett out there. Hey, buddy. Who else?
Dr. Axe was on here for a little bit too.
Dr. Axe, wow. And then we've got
We
some
had
other people. So
Pastor Raul's in Puerto Rico watching us now, so hey.
Santo, Senor.
Hey guys, we just want to ask you to just please share this and share this on your Facebook pages, like it, comment on it. We're going to go back through and read all the comments and respond to those, answer some of the questions that you guys have. We have tea time coming up next Tuesday, again at noon, and then 5 Essential Friday, where we're going to just help you hack the 5 Essentials in your life. Again, go on iTunes podcast and check that out. I know that if you're an Android user, I learned this last week, that it's called Castbox that you have to go on to, but it's still under Tea Time with the Judges. So wherever you have your favorite place to listen to your podcast, check out Tea Time with the Judges.
And remember to like and share it, and we love you guys. And remember to set yourself free. How do you do that? Is you think differently. Have a good week.
Be blessed. Bye-bye.